I remember when I found myself, I became a leader. Oh, and I found my place. Yes, I remember when I was lost and then I'm found. Oh, I know my place. Oh, I remember when I could not find where I was. I needed a safe place to save my soul. Oh, I remember when I found somewhere, oh, somewhere safe to put it down. Does that make me a leader? Does that make me a leader? Does that make me a leader? Oh, anyone can be. Oh, I remember when I found my place. I was in a room full of safe people, knowing I could do better. You are a guiding light in the dark when things are hard. You are everything, keeping kids so safe. Does that make me a leader? Does that make me a leader? Does that make me a leader? Oh, to lead the way. Does that make me a leader? Does that make me a leader? Make me a leader, guiding all that I remember when I was lost. I was looking for a guiding light. Then I found Treehouse. I remember all those dark days. You were the guiding light, and now my dreams I can chase. Oh, I remember being all alone, lost without any light. I remember when I lost my place, didn't know where to go. Then I found my special place. Hey, does that make you a leader? Helping children find the way. Does that make you a leader? Oh, I think it does.
We start the journey together, but life takes us down many paths. While we all face challenges that push us to grow, many foster kids face these challenges alone. Each year, Treehouse cares for more than 6,000 foster kids. With a passion for education, we help level the playing field. Where others see barriers, we open doors. What we do allows foster kids to have a childhood and a plan for the future. To learn, to play, to heal, to dream. And most importantly, to graduate. Treehouse gives foster kids a childhood and a future.
Welcome to Champions 2025. Please welcome Jesse Becerra and Sharmila Swenson to the stage.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Champions 2025. I'm Sharmila Swenson, President of the Treehouse Board of Directors. Thank you. I've had the privilege of supporting Treehouse for over 25 years now, if you can believe it, in many forms: college volunteer, staff member, a board member since 2018, and a corporate partner on behalf of my company, Symetra. Like many of you, I am a proud advocate and champion of youth in foster care, and I want to welcome all of you, and I'm so glad that you've chosen to spend the next hour with us.
Good afternoon, y'all. My name is Jesse Becerra, and I'm so excited to be here and serve as your MC and tour guide for today. I'm not gonna lie, folks. When I was asked to be the MC for today, on April 1st, I thought I was being set up for the ultimate April Fool's joke, and I'm still waiting for that just kidding, Sharmila. Anyways, I've worked at Treehouse since 2019, first as a volunteer coordinator, and now I serve as a program manager working with youth on post-high school plans. Being here with others who care about youth experiencing foster care is like music to my ears. And speaking of music, y'all hear the band? Sharmila, the song that they actually performed, they wrote that for Treehouse. Isn't that? Isn't that tremendous? Let's hear it for Tabor Jazz and Jacqueline Tabor, y'all.
There will be an award, I think, for the person with the best tree pun by the end of the afternoon. That is incredible. Thank you so much, Tabor Jazz, and thank you, Jesse, for being here and doing this work. Before we get any further along, I'd like to take a moment and recognize the land we are gathered on today. Today in Seattle, we are on the ancestral and unceded lands of the Duwamish, Muckleshoot, and Coast Salish peoples. We acknowledge and honor the indigenous communities across Washington state who were the first stewards of this land. Throughout history, Native children were forcibly removed from their families, and the harm done continues to echo through their families, their communities, and their schools. So as we work to transform the systems that impact young people in foster care, we commit to keeping this history in mind.
Thank you, Sharmila. I appreciate keeping history in mind. The theme of this year's event is leading the way. At Treehouse, we believe that children and young people in foster care are the experts of their own lives. Leading the way is not just the theme of this year's Champions fundraising event. It's a reflection of our mission to honor their leadership, agency, and potential. You know, Sharmila, this is actually my first time on stage, believe it or not. Where I'm actually most comfortable, as you can see on the screens above, is hanging with my furry friends or hanging out with my tremendous treeple. I'm so sorry, y'all, I can't hang. Did y'all see how I put tree and tremendous and people? But allow me to brag about my team for a second. I'm privileged to be working with caring coaches that inspire young people to courageously carve their path in life. Whether employment or post-secondary education, we support young people who have experienced foster care as guides on the side, helping them navigate early adulthood outside of high school.
Jesse, thank you for your work alongside our young people. You are the real deal, and that is no joke. I think we could all listen to your stories and your experiences about working with youth all day. But we're going to hear a little bit more on that later, and we need to get started because we have a lot of people to thank. First of all, we want to thank you all for being here today. Whether you're a brand new Treehouse supporter, or you've been in our community for years or even decades, we love celebrating with you. Your attendance, contributions, and fellowship are critical to the success of our work. Next, I want to give a huge thank you to our event co-chairs, Terry Olson-Miller and Linda Spain. The board of directors, the Treehouse Ambassador Board, and the emeritus board members that are joining us today. I want to give a special acknowledgement to our chair and committee members leading a new Treehouse Emeritus campaign. Linda Hunter, Zan Berkshire, Terry Olson-Miller, and Shelby Brown-Rice. On the screen is a list of our emeritus board members. Thank you for engaging when and where it matters most, serving as thought partners, strategic contributors, and connectors. There are several of you in the room today who have already signed on to the 3-year pledge. Thank you so much. Now, could I ask the event co-chairs, the board of directors, the Treehouse Ambassador Board, and the emeritus members to please stand and be recognized. Thank you to all of our table captains. You really make this event possible. We appreciate the work you put into filling tables, inviting guests to join us, and most of all, sharing your passion and commitment to our mission. Sadly, we recently received news of the passing of Kathleen Steele Ahmed. She was a beloved and dedicated Treehouse supporter and table captain. Her table is here today to honor her memory and devotion to making a difference in the lives of youth experiencing foster care. Thank you to her family and friends for joining us here today. And you all know that behind every table captain, every place setting, and every smile is the amazing Treehouse staff. Treehouse is filled with mission-centered, heart-driven people, and we thank you so much for all that you do. And thank you to all the service staff in the room taking care of us during this lunch.
We would also like to thank our loyal and generous corporate sponsors, including but not limited to the Seattle Times, Cairo News Radio, Carter Subaru, Microsoft, Muckleshoot Indian Tribes, and Symetra. But wait, there's more. Amazon, Boeing, Davis Law Group, First Interstate Bank, and Freestone. Woo! Every sponsorship level shared on the screens up above adds up, and we are so grateful to the business and industries that continue to show up and support children and young people in foster care. We're so grateful for the generous support and partnership. Thank you so much, y'all.
We'd like to recognize and welcome my dear friend, Washington State Attorney General Nick Brown. Yes, that deserves a clap. You'll be hearing more from AG Brown as our keynote later in the program. We'd also like to recognize and welcome former First Lady of Washington State, Trudy Inslee, and all the current and former public employees, public officials joining us today.
And finally, thank you to the members of our Champions Challenge Pool. This passionate group of donors raised over $665,000 to help motivate and inspire your individual support today in this room. And for the Champions Week of Giving campaign happening right now for those that were unable to join us in person. Today, we will be matching every gift of $300 or more, 1-to-1. That's 100%, y'all. That includes matching in any monthly gifts of over $25 a month for the next 12 months. And gifts over $1,000 will be matched 2-to-1. That's 200%, y'all. That's a lot. Come on. More details to come later in the program on how you could take advantage of this tremendous generosity. Now, as a tour guide, for our next stop in the tour, I'd like to invite a few of our tremendous colleagues to the stage. Graduation and launching into adulthood is a huge lift. Today, with the help of my colleagues, Anna, Sarah, and Jonathan, we want to highlight some of the education support services that make these life-changing outcomes happen. As direct service staff, we share these little wins to keep us going in this work. I will start by sharing one of mine, and then I'll turn it over to my awesome colleagues to step up to the podium and share theirs. When I moved from being a frontline coach to being a program manager, I requested I actually carry a small caseload so that I could continue to meet with a handful of my young people I had been working with previously. One young man actually comes to mind. He did not actually go to college after high school, but after some time of working with me, he identified his goal to attend Seattle University. And it's actually a really cute story, y'all, because 2 years ago, we both started on this endeavor together. He at Bellevue College for an associate's in business, and I for my master's in public administration at Evergreen State College. Our check-ins mostly consist of conversations on life, hyping each other up when finals are upon us, and uplifting us when we're feeling kind of blue. If everything goes well, we both will be walking for graduation this spring. I'm a little bit of a wooer. I just can't help but say, woo! And I will be supporting him in applying to Seattle University in the fall as part of their full ride fostering scholarship program. Anna, I'll pass it to you, Anna.
Thank you, Jesse. Good afternoon. My name is Anna McGree, and I'm a highly mobile youth educational advocate here at Treehouse. It is an honor to speak at this event, and I'm excited to share a piece of what I do every day with you. I work with social workers, caregivers, school staff, and others to ensure youth have the best educational experience possible. The highly mobile part of my job means I specialize in cases where students are frequently moved between home placements, sometimes up to 5 times a school year. My task is ensuring that their voices are heard in school meetings, that they are receiving adequate and appropriate educational supports, and advising their educational teams in advocating for them as they move from home to home, district to district, or county to county. I received a referral for a young student who had been experiencing this instability. His individual education plan was 3 years old, and it limited him to online schooling due to behaviors all those years ago. He was not allowed to step onto school grounds. He wanted to engage at school in person, join extracurricular activities, and have the same opportunities as his peers. He wanted more. It wasn't easy, but it was possible. And even though he moved placements again, I helped advocate for him to remain at his neighboring school so he could maintain valuable relationships he had built with both peers and staff. In just 4 months, he was back in school full-time, participating in clubs, and even attending prom. Youth in foster care deserve a free and appropriate education, and with the right support, they can thrive. I'm proud to be a part of a program that makes this possible, and thank you all for helping make this possible too.
Thank you, Anna. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sarah Mazer, and I'm the program manager at Treehouse's Financial Resources. I've worked at Treehouse for a little over 8.5 years, and I've attended almost every champion since. I look forward to it every year, and I'm always blown away by the amount of support from our community. My job supports youth in a different way than what Jesse and Anna just shared. Treehouse resources cover things like clothing and holiday gifts, as well as funding for crucial childhood life experiences. By removing financial barriers, children and youth can explore interests like sports, music, or dance, and they can engage in their communities by going to camps or signing up for school activities. We also help young drivers by funding things like driver's ed, licensing fees, insurance, and car maintenance, also that they can go after what they want in life. It makes me so proud that my work creates all this possibility. One moment that stands out that I'd really like to share with you all today is about two siblings, ages 8 and 10. They were experiencing difficulties after entering the foster care system, which is to be expected. Their challenging behaviors in school eventually led them to being expelled. To be clear, these are children in 3rd and 5th grade getting expelled. Their new caregiver connected with their church for tutoring during the school expulsion, and the siblings were invited to attend church activities so they could bond with kids their age. A Treehouse resource coordinator worked with the caregiver to scope out and provide funding that paid for school supplies, for tutoring costs, and activities and gear. Thankfully, the children were re-enrolled in a new school. Their caregiver later shared that they are much more comfortable, approachable, and social with other kids their age. She shared that the funding from Treehouse was instrumental in allowing them to get back on track academically and experience positive social interactions again.
Thank you, Sarah. That's an incredible testimonial. My name is Jonathan Chavez, and I am an education specialist lead in the Graduation Success Program. I work in the eastern part of the state in Spokane. This is my first time at Champions, and I'm honored to speak today. When I was first asked if I would be interested in speaking at Champions, my immediate reaction was, no, that's way too many people. And I was right. But then I started reflecting on the success stories of my students, and one story stood out, one that I felt everyone needed to hear. A few years ago, I received a referral for a student who had been expelled from 2 schools, was on probation, and had been through several foster placements. Academically, he was struggling. When I began meeting with him, he didn't want to discuss his grades or attendance. All he wanted were chips, and then he'd go back to class. For about a month, I visited him weekly at school. Each time, he was distant and disengaged, but I kept showing up, week after week. Slowly, he started to open up about his life and began sharing his thoughts about his future. As time went on, he started setting academic goals. He talked about his love for basketball and began to develop long-term goals for himself. He took advantage of our just-in-time funding program, earning gift cards for completing his goals, getting a gym membership, and even making sure to send me receipts for his fades, haircuts, so he could be reimbursed. When his senior year approached, we began discussing his options after high school. He explored different trades and apprenticeship programs, but one day, in one of our usual check-ins, he asked me, "Do you think college is even an option for me?" I quickly shared with him some financial resources that could help him if he decided to pursue higher education. He did his own research into what he wanted to study and where he would like to attend. We scheduled a campus tour at Spokane Community College, where I introduced him to different campus resources that supported youth in foster care. Today, he is the first in his family to graduate high school, the first to attend college, and will be the first to graduate from college. Stories like these are what our education programs are all about, being there to support youth in foster care as they graduate high school or earn their GEDs. It's about being someone they can rely on in a world that often feels uncertain. Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you to Jonathan, Sarah, Anna, and Jesse. What a great way to bring to life the profound impact that Treehouse staff and partners have in service to children and young people in foster care every single day. Let's give it up for them. They're amazing. We're so incredibly fortunate to have staff members like these four. They just do incredible work. You can see why they connect so well with our young people. Since our inception in 1988, nearly 4 decades ago now, Treehouse has improved the educational and well-being outcomes for tens of thousands of youth in foster care in Washington state. The anchor of Treehouse's work has been relationships, not immediate one-off interventions. Before I ask our CEO, Don Raines, to join me on the stage, let me share a few more key highlights over the past year. In 2024, we were proud to share that together, we supported 6,162 youth and young adults, removing barriers and providing everyday resources and educational coaching. This included educational coaching and advocacy to nearly 2,600 students in foster care. We distributed 103,290 clothing items, books, backpacks, and other supplies with your help. And we processed 5,400 funding requests for transportation, extracurricular activities, school fees, and other basic needs. While increased demands and costs strained our resources, Treehouse successfully expanded its material and financial resources, serving 31% more children and youth outside of King County. Over the past decade, the 4-year statewide graduation rate of youth in foster care has increased from 36 to 53%. That is twice the rate I want to note that that is twice the rate of increase of the general student population. The proof is in the progress, and I could not be prouder of all that Treehouse has achieved over these nearly 4 decades with your support. It's been incredible for me to watch our evolution and progress over the last 25 years. But the threat of undoing decades of progress is now very real. For those of you who have been with us at past champion events, you know that we don't often ring the bell and raise alarm. But we would be remiss if we didn't tell you that there is a lot at stake right now. And I hope you will answer the call and lean in deeply to help in any way that you can. And now I'm honored to invite my friend and partner in progress, Treehouse CEO Don Raines, to the stage to share more about what's at stake in the urgency of now and the ways that we can come together during these unprecedented times to collect in our collective service to our young people. Together, we can ensure that youth impacted by foster care have a chance to dream without limits and lead the way. Friends and family, please join me in welcoming Don Raines to the stage.
Good afternoon. So good to see you all. It's great to see so many familiar faces and so many new faces here today. To those of you who have been walking this journey with Treehouse for decades, and for those of you joining us for the first time, thank you so much for being here. Before I go on, I have to do a couple of special shout outs though. First of all, my mom is celebrating her 80th birthday. She and my brother live in Madison, Wisconsin, so this is the first time they've ever been able to attend a Champions Lunch in person. And so I'm so happy to have them here. Happy 80th, Mom. And second, I want to welcome and congratulate our new Secretary of the Washington State Department for Children, Youth, and Families, Tana Sen. If you were here last year, you know we celebrated her as our Legislator of the Year in 2024. And Tana is a true champion for our young people in foster care. Welcome and congrats, Madam Secretary. This month, I'm proud to celebrate 16 years at Treehouse. 16 years built on passion originally ignited from my experience as a foster parent nearly 2 decades ago. During that time, I was profoundly struck by a foster care system that doesn't really work for anyone. Not the children and youth it's meant to protect, not the parents struggling to do better, not the parents or relative caregivers trying to provide stability, not the caseworkers stretched to their limits. That experience made me realize that this was the work that my heart wanted to do. Right now, there is a 14-year-old in our state who has been removed from their home for their own safety, carrying everything they own in a single garbage bag. By the time they arrive at their 4th foster care placement, they've already changed schools 3 times, lost 4 teachers who believed in them, and every friend who truly knew their story. Over the course of this year, nearly 9,000 children and youth in our state will wake up in foster care, just like that 14-year-old. They are worrying about what's going to happen to them, whether they're going to see their mom or their siblings this week. They will head to school carrying burdens that no kid should ever have to experience. They're the new kid again. It takes time to get their school records. They may go weeks without needed special education support. They miss class for court dates and therapy sessions. And many won't have access to those extracurricular activities, the sports, music, clubs, and events that bring joy and can shape their lives because they can't afford them. And when their trauma and loss bubbles over into challenging behavior in the classroom and the school fails to recognize why, they get suspended or expelled, as you've heard. All of this sends the message to our young people that school, a place that should be safe and certain, is not a place for them. But their stories don't end there. We know our young people are much more than the challenges they must overcome. Our Treehouse staff, like Jesse, Anna, Jonathan, and Sarah, know that every young person we serve is still writing their story. We are living in a time of so much economic, political, and social upheaval. It's a time when many of us feel the ground beneath us shifting. I know I've been asking myself, what is our mandate in this moment? The answer isn't something we wait for, it's something that we must create. Despite shifting ground at the federal level and a serious budget crisis in our state, we have been entrusted with creating opportunities for our young people in foster care to succeed in a world where the cards are often stacked against them. These are the young people for whom the state has stepped in as legal guardian. State does not make a great parent, by the way. We believe that we have a special responsibility, a moral imperative to ensure that they have every opportunity to thrive. And at Treehouse, we believe that the key is education. We know that when students in foster care graduate from high school, their chances of long-term success skyrocket. And research shows us when they don't finish high school, their chances of experiencing unemployment, poverty, homelessness, and incarceration also increase dramatically. The reality is that the foster care and the education systems often fall short and struggle to work together effectively, failing to provide the stability, continuity, and extra support that young people need to stay the course. Treehouse exists to change all of that. At Treehouse, our goal is that youth in foster care will complete high school at the same rate as their peers, prepared to implement their post-high school plan. Our integrated, holistic approach, anchored by human connection, is key to changing their educational outcomes so that they can shape and build their own lives. As you've heard, Treehouse provides access to the essentials, that high-quality clothing, shoes, school supplies, and more, so they can show up to school with confidence, prepared to engage in their education. We reduce the financial barriers that make everyday life harder for our students. Without the right support, our students miss out on experiences that help them connect, learn, and grow. A missed field trip, a sports team they can't afford to join, a college dream put on hold because application fees are just too high. And these are not just line items, they are make or break moments in our kids' lives, and they add up. Each missed opportunity makes it even more challenging for them to keep up with peers and envision a future that is beyond their current reality. We step up so they don't have to opt out. The education system is not built with foster care in mind, but Treehouse is. First, we work with all of the grown-ups. Our advocates work in child welfare offices, partnering directly with caseworkers, parents, caregivers, and schools to ensure that youth get the education that they're entitled to. We advocate to maintain school stability so our students don't have to start over every time they change placements, and advocate for and intervene when suspensions or expulsions threaten to derail their progress. And second, we work directly with the students themselves. From 8th through 12th grade, students meet with their education specialists every week, like Jonathan. Together, they monitor their attendance, behavior, and grades. Together, they set goals, create plans, build their self-advocacy skills, and most importantly, their hope, so that each young person can take charge of their education and their future. And when they graduate, we don't disappear. We continue providing guidance, financial assistance, and essential resources so young adults can navigate their post-high school plans with the support, security, and sounding board that every young adult needs as they navigate the path to young adulthood. Today, we are extremely proud that all of our programs are available in every corner of our state. This is a dream that was more than a decade in the making, and we are proud at this moment to be serving 2/3 of all school-age young people in foster care statewide. And most importantly, as Sharmi shared earlier, what we do works. Over the past decade, nearly 1,300 Treehouse students have graduated from high school. And those young people that we serve for 2 years or more are graduating at a rate of nearly 70%. And that is not all. We know that real change only happens when we take on the policies and systems that create the barriers that limit their lives. We work at the highest levels, partnering with legislators, state agencies, and educators to make lasting changes that expand opportunity and access. Because of our leadership, Washington State has some of the strongest laws in the country addressing the educational needs of our students in foster care. And for the past 2 years, Treehouse has had the opportunity to serve the U.S. Department of Education full-time as experts on students in foster care. We've convened and trained education and child welfare leaders from all 50 states and issued new federal guidance on best practices in education for students in foster care. We are impacting kids across this country. Time and again, colleagues in other states say to me, I wish we had a Treehouse. Then the truth is there is nothing else like us in the country. Treehouse is the only organization in the nation delivering this breadth of educational services and other essential supports at this level of effectiveness, at this scale. And none of this, I am not overstating, would be possible without the support of everyone in this room. We have made incredible progress, and we still have a long way to go. Our students continue to experience chronic absenteeism and exclusionary discipline at egregiously disproportionate rates. They continue to viscerally experience the lingering impacts of the learning loss and social emotional distress of COVID. And since we announced our statewide expansion in 2023, demand for our services has skyrocketed. We are stretching to keep up and experiencing wait lists in both of our education programs. Our students need us more than ever before. And right now, Treehouse is facing external headwinds that are unprecedented in recent memory. The very identities, personal safety, and educational trajectories of our young people are under attack from the highest levels of our government. Federal funding streams that support critical student needs are in question. And if you've been following the news, you know that our state is facing its most significant budget crisis since the recession of 2008. Last week, Treehouse learned that $7.4 million in state funding for our education programs is at serious risk. Our funding for next year was maintained in the Senate budget, but was entirely cut in the House budget. Over the past decade, the state legislature and Treehouse have partnered to build statewide access to these essential supports. The state puts up that $7.4 million, and Treehouse matches it with more than double that amount in individual donations, foundation grants, and corporate contributions because of all of you in this room. However, if we lose this state funding, we are at significant risk of undoing all of the progress we have made over this last decade. This is where we need you. We are at another turning point in Treehouse's history, a time to step up, to advocate boldly, to ask our legislators to make greater investments, and we are calling on you to take the next step with us. Even more than a decade after setting our sights on improving the foster care graduation rate, no one has ever done what we are attempting to do anywhere in our country, and we can do it. We are doing it. What makes Treehouse exceptional is you. 60% of our budget comes from people just like you. Today, we ask you to give generously. We are so grateful for your partnership and vote of confidence in our work. And immediately following today's luncheon, you're going to get an email from me asking you to take one more critical step. Our legislators need to hear from every one of us that we cannot and we will not balance our state budget on the backs of our most vulnerable and marginalized young people. These are the young people for whom the state is legally responsible, and the legislature has a special responsibility to them. And investing in our students in foster care is not only the right thing to do. Those 1,300 Treehouse graduates over the past decade represent over $500 million in benefit to our society, including taxpayer savings and higher lifetime earnings for the graduates themselves. It is a smart investment in their futures and in ours. So show of hands, how many people in this room have ever contacted one of their state legislators? Oh, I am impressed. All right, so this is going to be an easy ask for you, right? We need you to show up and help us make a ruckus on behalf of our youth in foster care. You're going to get that email. We have a simple online tool. The message is drafted for you. It will go automatically to your 3 legislators, and it takes less than 2 minutes. 2 minutes of your time. We need you now. Our young people need you now. It's hard to dream when getting through the day feels impossible. That's why I'm deeply committed to the work that we do day in and day out. With the right support, young people don't just imagine a better future, they create it. But we need your help to do it. I am so thankful for every single one of you here today. Your presence here today is a testament to the community we have built over 37 years. And the shared commitment we have to our young people in foster care, regardless of their zip code, regardless of how they got their start. So thank you. Now I am pleased to introduce Esteban, Aaliyah, and Zoe via video, who are creating their futures and following their dreams. They are just 3 of the 174 young people who graduated last year.
Hello, my name is Esteban, and I'm graduating from Lake Stevens High School. Graduating is important to me because I plan on getting an education and becoming a detective. Someone that's been important to me in getting to this goal was my Treehouse worker, Juan, because he's helped me for every step of the way. And in 10 years, I see myself being an esteemed detective in a big city.
Hi, my name is Aaliyah, and I'm graduating from Issaquah High School. And graduating is important to me because it allows me to expand my wings and just kind of see what I really want to do in the future. And my family and my cat has been an important part of me reaching this goal, just because, you know, everyone kind of shells out in their own way. And in 10 years, I see myself being either a translator or an English teacher in Japan, hopefully.
Hi, I'm Zoe. I'm graduating from Mark Morris High School. Graduating is important to me because I'm going to be one of the first in my family to be graduating high school on time. I'm very excited about it. I'm 8 days away. Matt has really helped me get to this goal of mine, and it has been very, very helpful on this journey. I don't know if I would have made it this far without him, making sure I have everything completed. And in 10 years, I see myself being a NICU nurse, helping the little babies get home to their families all healthy. I'm very excited. Thank you.
Thank you, and congratulations, Esteban, Aaliyah, and Zoe. You inspire all of us to keep going. As I said, many of you have been on this journey with us for a very long time, including our next speaker, our new Attorney General, Nick Brown. Nick first became involved with Treehouse by attending a Champions Luncheon just like this. He went on to become a volunteer and ultimately served on the Treehouse Board of Directors from 2014 to 2021, including as our board president until he was appointed U.S. Attorney. Nick is a true champion for our young people and our state, and I am pleased to welcome Attorney General Nick Brown to the stage.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. First of all, I understand, Karen, that it's your birthday. Is it today? Yesterday. My birthday's tomorrow. And I hope for your birthday that you voted in Wisconsin before you left. I appreciate the welcome and the invitation from my friend Don Raines, who has taken the reins, I'm sorry, there's some puns happening, of this organization and led it with distinction now for so long. And it's sitting here and watching you lead this organization today really fills me with a great deal of pride to have seen your own personal journey. So congratulations, Don. And to Treehouse's incredible staff, to all of the members of the board of directors, past and present, and to everyone that is here today to join us in celebrating and supporting this incredible organization, let me just say it is good to be home. And I think about this organization as my home in so many different ways. As Dawn said, I've served with this organization in very many ways, and I look around this room today and see so many people from the organization that always gave me a home and a voice in this organization, and it's good to look across here and see all those people. I also came into the room and saw a lot of my former colleagues from the Department of Justice. I miss you guys. I like the state too. Some of my colleagues from my former law firm are here as well, and friends that I've known for a very long time. But I have been part of this Treehouse family for about 15 years, going from a volunteer to the board of directors, and have seen how this organization has gone from a single small idea, the idea that people together could improve the lives of foster youth, to now to a multifaceted powerhouse, truly life-changing force for good in Washington State. And to see that journey fills me with so much pride, because Treehouse has been serving and adapting to the needs of foster youth here in King County and now across Washington State for almost 4 decades. But I remember the debates and the candid uncertainties that Treehouse faced as it transitioned from providing smaller services and assistance to foster youth to setting the audacious goal of true educational equity for Washington youth, no matter their circumstances, to truly being a holistic organization helping foster youth not only survive, but thrive into adulthood, to really focus on how do we change the systems that allow foster youth to struggle. And to see that journey over the last 4 decades and to be a part of it for 15 years has truly been remarkable. And it's in that context that we all take a moment to recognize that where Treehouse is today, to the success that you have seen, to all the people that are here in this room, as one of the most vital statewide organizations serving youth, that success was not a given. Let me say that again. The success that you are learning about or that you know about of this organization and the impact that it is having on youth was not a given. There was no guarantee that that fierce optimism that that original group of social workers who pooled together $5,000 in 1988, there was no guarantee that they would survive to the early stages of building an organization. There was no guarantee that the staff who took this idea to the next level through their intense focus on results and improvement to build Treehouse into the organization that you know, one that is universally respected for its systems, it was no guarantee that it could convince the donors and the stakeholders alike that this model could in fact change lives. There was no guarantee that when the board drew a line in the sand and said that we believe in all of our children, and we believe that we can do more to raise our game to support all of our children, and that we believe that turning back at that point was not an option, giving up was unacceptable. It was not a guarantee. It was not a given that that would work. But work it did. And it did in part for three very important reasons. One, Treehouse has the best damn staff of any nonprofit I've ever seen. You know, Don noted that I served as board chair, and when I became the U.S. Attorney in 2021, I had to resign from all of the nonprofits that I was a part of. That was part of the Department of Justice's requirement. There were some nonprofits that I was sadder to leave than others. But serving as the board, particularly during the pandemic, to see what this organization could do and its staff could do really filled me with awe. I had the privilege of watching the staff and the volunteers shift to remote strategies in providing for young people. I watched the creativity and the commitment and the fight in the team to not give up on our central mission of improving the lives of foster youth, to not give up at a time when the staff's own jobs and their own livelihood was at risk. And I can say without reservation that our state is lucky. We are so lucky to have had such fighters on the ground, in classrooms, in the community, all across Washington state, to make sure that our children would not get lost in that chaos. Number two, Treehouse is built upon true partnerships with its volunteers, its stakeholders, and its governmental partners. So many of you that are here today can testify to those partnerships and engagement and collaboration. And having worked myself in Olympia, in the governor's office, as the governor's counsel, with the legislature, and now as the attorney general of my home state, I know that the critical role that Treehouse plays in collaboration with the state and the state systems. Simply put, our government, working alone, cannot provide for foster youth in all of the ways that they need. We cannot provide all of the support and the tools that our foster youth need to survive. Foster youth need to thrive. And it is vital that they receive comprehensive support from early childhood all the way through adulthood. And that requires the types of programs that Treehouse has built, that Treehouse has spearheaded, has implemented as model programs in this state, and programs that are being copied across the country. Treehouse work complements the government systems in really important ways by not simply filling the gaps in a child's life, but by working to ensure that educational equity and life opportunities for each and every child that it serves. And it works for systemic change to prevent these inequities from existing in the first place. And the third reason that I think Treehouse has been so successful is that the organization, above anything else, never strays from its fundamental principle of doing what is best for the youth that it serves. That is the bedrock. That is the foundation. That is the guiding light of this organization, doing what is best for the youth that it serves. I've seen that myself in the work that this organization does, where we have over 6,000 foster children and young adults that are centered in everything that the organization does. And I know how central it is for Treehouse to allow young people to determine their own paths, to give them agency over their own lives. And we can all relate and empathize to that feeling of vulnerability when big decisions weren't in our control. We can all recall the curiosity and the anxiety and of imagining what adulthood may look like. And we can remember who showed us the kindness, the generosity, and the mentorship in that moment when we needed it most. We remember who empowered us. These kids deserve the same. These kids deserve that same opportunity that we all may have taken for granted. And Treehouse supports those moments and those milestones that become the core memories for the youth that it serves. Supporting young people's opportunities gives them the confidence that distant dreams can actually become goals and reality in their lives. But despite Treehouse's fierce optimism that has led its mission from the beginning, and despite the proven results in changing kids' lives and the leadership in this work across the state and across the country, just like at its founding and every critical juncture since, the future of this organization is not a given. As Don said, we face some tremendous challenges in our state and in our communities and in our nation right now. Our state is dealing with an incredibly serious budget crisis. The federal government seems intent on erasing hundreds of millions of dollars in vital funding that supports our education and the healthcare and some of the most vital programmings from our most vulnerable people. I know because I've been in that fight for the last 2 months, more than I would have predicted and more than I would have cared for. But I know how much destruction is happening at a federal level now. And we hear how that is impacting our friends and our family and our constituents who are concerned about the direction of this country. But imagine what would it be like to be a foster youth, uncertain where you may rest, uncertain who you may call your family, uncertain where you may call home. All the anxieties and uncertainties that all of us are feeling are amplified tenfold by the foster youth that this organization serves. We are living through a period where fierce optimism will be more important to our communities and to our children than ever. But fierce optimism is not enough. It simply is not. Now is not the time for passivity. Now is not the time to shy away. Now is not the time to hide from the challenges that we are facing. Now is the time for action. Action to ensure educational equity for our children. Action to ensure that these programs that Treehouse has built and spearheaded will thrive. Action to ensure that their kids get the lives that they deserve. Foster youth in Washington State need all of you. Foster youth in Washington State need Treehouse. Our state needs Treehouse. And I hope you will join me to continue to be a champion for this organization in the same way that they are champions for children all across Washington State. Thank you very much.
Thank you, A.G. Brown, for sharing your leadership with us. Now, I'd like to introduce you to one of our longtime board members, Linda Spain, y'all. What's on your brain, Linda Spain?
Linda Spain, he had to use that refrain. Linda Spain, okay. Joke's over. Nick, where are you? Nick Brown. God, you are awesome. You're awesome. Thank you. Thank you for being here today. And I need to acknowledge also someone who is, we thought we were born at the hip, my co-chair, the fabulous Terry Olson Miller. But hey, have you been hearing the passion? Do you feel the passion? Do you need to understand what is happening here with Treehouse? And do you understand that? I hope you do. Because soon, you're going to have the chance to lead the way for opportunity to foster care youth in this state, for many thousands of foster youth in this state. So put down your pens or your cell phones and consider an expanded gift to Treehouse from what you thought you were going to give today. Consider an expanded gift. It could even be a gift of stock, donor advised funds, or maybe a planned gift.
What about a monthly gift?
Oh, yeah, that's right, a monthly gift. That's what I do. You can make a gift of $25, $50, $100, or more dollars, a pledged monthly gift. That would be terrific if you did that. So please, we're not done quite yet. Consider your gift in many different ways that you can make that while you listen to what our next speaker, Dana Frank, has to say to us. And only after that, pick up that mighty pen, pick up your friend, that cell phone who's always with you, and make your gift or your pledge. And make it a meaningful one, please. And please, also, if you have a chance to say hi to me before you leave, do that too. And always lead with your heart. Thank you.
I'd now like to invite Dana Frank up to the stage. Dana has been a Treehouse supporter for more than 2 decades, y'all. And this is a longtime member of our Treehouse Emeritus Board. You can read more about Dana in our program and her book, Get Up and Get On It.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am, for the short time that I've got here with you, you know why I'm here. I'm not going to ask you for any money, not a red penny, not a cent. And if you believe that, you're the April Fool. We've heard the statistics. We know what's at stake. Today, we are all here to be a part of Treehouse's mission to give children in foster care a childhood and a future. I became involved with Treehouse over 25 years ago when I sat right where you are at a luncheon. I was invited by my dear friend Marta Della Gasparina, co-founder of Tommy Bahama. And I asked Marta, I said, what's this luncheon going to be about? She said, it's just one of those things that you have to come and experience. I was young, Treehouse was young, I had a young son in grade school. And when I showed up and I heard this child's story, it changed my life. As a mother of a kid that was going to St. Joseph, all I had to worry about was having 5 ironed white polo shirts at the beginning of each week. That kid that stood down this podium that day, 25 years ago, shared a story that he was so excited for school to start. He was so excited to run track. He was a great cross-country runner. He was excited to meet his teachers and to learn about how he could change the narrative that his unfortunate birth circumstances had created for him. But the problem was, on the first day of school, he didn't have those 5 white starched T-shirts. He had his foster sister's hot pink stirrup pants. And that brave child went to school, and he wore those hot pink stirrup pants, and he faced the humiliation and the shame. And that day I vowed, not under my watch, I would never have a child, a young man, wear hot pink stirrup pants to school unless he chose to. My friends and I, for over 25 years, have had an annual holiday drive where everybody gets together and they bring presents for these kids. And that's what we're here to do today. So as you get ready to write your checks, I'm not going to stand here and take up much more of your time. I want you to imagine this. My uncle is the late producer Quincy Jones that we just lost in November. And my uncle said many things, including not 1 ounce of my self-worth is dependent on your acceptance of me. But my uncle, one of the most proud songs that he produced is Man in the Mirror. So as you write your check today, I hope that you will think about the man in the mirror, not the person sitting next to you or at the table over there. Think about what you can do to impact these lives. The time is now, and we need the man in the mirror to make the change. So please write. I'm going to close. I wrote a book recently called Get Up and Get On It, and I wrote a poem in here that I really dedicated to Treehouse in my work there, and I'd like to have you think about this as you write and give. It's called Pay It Forward. There was a moment in your life when the door opened and let the future in. You may have been struggling and defeated and didn't know where to begin. But someone paid it forward, their knowledge, time, talents, and resources they bestowed. Your life forever changed by the gifts your grace and generosity flowed. So pay it forward and be a part of another's history. Success takes a village. There is no problem to solve or mystery. Take a chance on someone, go ahead and roll the dice. The return on paying it forward doesn't come with a price. The interest is tangible as you watch your efforts improve someone's existence. So be a part, lift others up, and watch them go the distance. Thank you. Please give. I believe we're going to have on the screens the different ways that you can give, and we take anything. We are, you got it, we'll take it. So please give. Thank you so much for your time, and Dawn, you are amazing, and happy birthday to your mama. Thanks for having Dawn. This community needs her.
Thank you, Dana. What do you say, y'all? Let's keep the energy and generosity going. Tabor Jazz will be serenading you all while you continue completing pledge cards at your table.
And Papa, he may have, but God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own. Yes, the strong gets more while the weak ones fade. Empty pockets don't ever make the grade. Mama may have, and Papa, he may have, but God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own. Friends, and you crowd in the door, and all over the door, and when it's gone, and the spending is, well, they don't call, no, they don't call no more. Relations give just the bread and such. You can help yourself, but don't take too much. Mama may have, and Papa, he may have, but God bless the child that's got his own. That's got his own.
Great job, y'all. Thank you, Tabor Jazz, for providing the perfect mood music. I can feel the passion and dedication in the room. Thank you to our keynote speaker, Attorney General Nick Brown. Thank you to each and every one of you for joining us today. Be sure to turn in your pledge cards into your table captain. And especially, deep thank you to all that have not finished your dessert platter on your table, as I will be getting mine. I'm Jesse Becerra, signing off. Have a tremendous rest of your day.